All right, we're back for part 2 of Monero Talk. We're still with Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, trying to turn him into the Monero Meister. So I guess I never really asked you. Oh, by the way, anybody who's watching now, highly recommend watching part 1, which streamed on Adam's channel. This wasn't planned. That was just our inabilities to properly stream them on both channels, but I think it's working out nicely. So highly recommend anybody that's watching this to watch round 1, part 1 on Adam's channel. I was grilling him pretty hard there, trying to get his full understanding, or trying to fully understand his trajectory, and because we had similar trajectories, and why he stopped at Bitcoin and didn't take the next step to Monero. So we're going along those lines. So I guess I never then actually asked you, so what is your take on Monero? So obviously I've given you my opinion as to why I think there's certain things superior about it, the fungibility, the privacy on the protocol level, and why I think that adds to the value proposition of crypto and adds to the unconfiscatability and the censorship resistance. But what is your ultimate take then? So Bitcoin is it, and then everything else dies, or you see there being a few coins around?
That's a good question. If Bitcoin does not improve its privacy, there's no way the privacy coins are going to go away. They're going to, but most of the other altcoins will go to zero, but there'll be more and more gimmicks out there too. So there's always going to be new gimmicks, but privacy is not a gimmick. It's actually something that there is a certain percentage of the population that really appreciate it. If Bitcoin ever really became super private, perfectly private, I could see Zcash and Monero and all the and Mimblewimble, all that stuff going away. But I don't know how it's going to exactly evolve, the privacy on the second layer of Bitcoin, and when it's going to evolve. So until we get a clearer picture of the future of privacy on Bitcoin, then the Mimblewimbles of the world, the Moneros of the world, there's going to be a use case for them. Now, the question is, which one of those privacy solutions is the best? Now, I'm not an expert, comparing Zcash, Monero, and the Mimblewimble coins. But right away, in the whole evolution of this back in 2016, it became apparent that whatever Monero was doing in terms of privacy was better than what Dash was doing. And so that was out of the, and Dash went a completely different direction, which I think is very noteworthy also. That they didn't, those guys over there, very centralized, didn't feel that promoting it as private was even worth it anymore, and they went into like the we got to do transactions for the world. Everyone's got to be able to spend with Dash, which is, it just shows you part of the mentality that is out there and why we are very far away from people really caring that much about privacy. But at the same time, the privacy wars rage on, and I've been told.
No, why is it the privacy? This is I'm getting hung up on this, and this is just my own. So why are we even calling them privacy coins, though? Isn't it just digital cash? So isn't it? You don't, obviously. I think part of you, I'm hearing you saying, is that privacy is important, but you don't think it's fundamental to what this needs to be. You don't think one Bitcoin needs to equal one Bitcoin.
No, I don't think gold needs to be private. I don't think people's
but one atom of gold equals one atom of gold, right?
Yeah, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Yeah.
Well, but it doesn't, right? Because effectively you could blacklist Bitcoins, so now one Bitcoin doesn't equal one Bitcoin. So
but there's always going to be people. So you're saying that then you throw that thing through a mixer and it's not blacklisted anymore. There are ways of getting rid. There's ways of cleaning up of laundering your Bitcoin. There are ways of doing that.
There's not good way. There's it's a war. Ultimately, it's built on a transparent blockchain. So you can try to twist and lose people around the corner, but they're always going to catch up to you because it's sitting on that blockchain forever. So you may be able to stall the amount of time it takes to unravel your twists and turns, but ultimately, using enough technology, you could always unravel it and get back to the original transaction. So that's kind of the essence of it, of whether or not it needs to be fungible on the protocol level. So like I was trying to say earlier, like ignoring the niche aspects of privacy, which is people think, you know, they don't want to be spied on. And obviously I personally think these are very important things, but even ignoring that just on a technological level, doesn't it make sense? Isn't it necessary for every unit to equal every other unit for it to be the best form of communicating value digitally?
That is an important aspect of money, of fungibility and the question is how fungible is Bitcoin? That's the bottom line. You're giving a scenario where Bitcoin can be a bad Bitcoin can be identified forever. And I think there will be solutions that will make that impossible. And I don't fully understand the whole mixing thing right now, but I think the mixing provides that. If you can, some of these guys that have been involved in hacks of Bitcoin have used mixers to get away with parts of it at least. I haven't seen a government yet crack down I haven't seen an innocent person end up with a dirty Bitcoin and people saying, no, you can't use that dirty Bitcoin, or we're arresting you for that dirty Bitcoin. And thus, fungibility hasn't become a major worry yet. Now, can that happen? You're saying that such a scenario can happen? Perhaps it can. Perhaps it can. And then the people over at that are working on Bitcoin will have to come up with a solution where that will be impossible. But I think it can be on the second layer. Or if worse comes to worse, it could be on the first layer. But I will say this: why do I call them privacy coins? Because they are privacy. Right now, they're more private than Bitcoin. They are more private than Bitcoin. That's why I call. I mean, you have to call them something.
So in Monero land, I'm sure I don't know if you've seen this meme yet, but so everyone's starting to refer to, you know, Bitcoin and others as surveillance coins. What's your opinion on that? So
no, but like Ripple and all those guys are central. I mean, those are really the surveillance coins. But if you do something bad, you're turned off. You can't be turned off with Bitcoin. Is it?
But you can be surveilled.
Okay, you can with the public blockchain. Yeah, you can. It's all out there.
And mass surveilled. I mean, surveillance is this idea of not just looking at Adam, but being able to look at everybody at the same time. And with Bitcoin, it kind of serves it to you on a silver platter. Here's everyone's transactions.
If you don't do the right things, if you at one point give away who you are, if you make one, that's it. You can be followed forever and ever until you can send it to a mixer. Or send it to what? I mean, I haven't had to worry about these type of scenarios. That's the thing. So I haven't had to experiment with this mixing. So I am no expert on the mixing and all that. But for the regular user of Bitcoin, yeah, it's going to be very public compared to the regular user of Monero, which is your Mimblewimble or whatever, where you can't see it. But if this is, you call it a surveillance coin, that's fair, you know, compete, that's fine. Call it a surveillance coin all you want. But if it actually becomes a problem where it's being used against people, then solutions will be developed where you won't be able to be surveilled on it. And that will maybe incorporate some of the stuff that Monero has brought to the table. But again, these Mimblewimble people keep on telling me that they're the best. So they'll incorporate Mimblewimble, they'll hard fork to a Mimblewimble version of Bitcoin. I don't know. We shall see. But yeah, they can call it. I mean, I said this from the beginning of the part one interview. Monero, Mimblewimble, yes, they are more private than Bitcoin. There's no doubt about it. But right now, it isn't a major concern for most people.
I'm sure you were, were there kind of back in the day when we really saw Bitcoin's the power of Bitcoin with WikiLeaks, right? So yes. WikiLeaks was trying to accept donations,
Yes.
and I think it was PayPal that restricted their ability to receive donations, and credit card companies, and they decided to adopt Bitcoin. I mean, so what happens when, you know, we wake up tomorrow and you can no longer send your Bitcoin, or you get a knock on your door because, you know, in 2017 we noticed that you sent Bitcoin to WikiLeaks?
Well, the number one scenario, you can no longer send your Bitcoin. You can always send your Bitcoin. I mean, that's not going to stop.
You can, but ex post facto, you're going to get in trouble if you do it. Sure, you could press that button. You could press the button. You can send it there.
Again,
you know, I could walk into a candy store and I could walk steal something off the shelf pretty easily and probably get away with it. But when the security camera catches me and finds me, I'm in trouble. I mean, so, you know, you could send your coins to WikiLeaks today. You could use your Bitcoin today to finance some controversial political party in your country that you believe in. But when the powers that be discover that and take action ex post facto, it doesn't work, and now you're in trouble, and your coins were not censorship resistant. So I mean, how about that reality?
The reality that you can ex post facto, you can get in trouble for doing something. They can't take it away from you. They can say you're in trouble now. Now that's a big threat. Again, I said this in the part one of the interview. You leave that jurisdiction. There's a world competition of jurisdictions out there. They're
right, but just framing it with the WikiLeaks example, because I think that's a very legitimate example, because that's when we kind of first saw Bitcoin shine, right? I mean, so isn't that
okay?
So what does Bitcoin do? So we wake up tomorrow morning and there's news that people are getting arrested in some country because it was discovered that they donated to WikiLeaks, and they use Bitcoin to basically track their transactions and pinpoint these people. What does Bitcoin then do in that moment? I mean, how is it? Because your argument is, well, it evolves and it will need to do what it needs to do, and it's good enough for its purposes today. But the reality is that, you know, we could wake up tomorrow. We've already seen it, but we've seen it for nefarious purposes, right? We've seen it. We've seen the benefits of the transparent ledger, which is it was able to stop a child porn ring in Korea, I believe it was, and because of the ability to trace the coin, they were able to find these people. But now, you know, it's only inevitable that we're going to see it for something not nefarious, for something that maybe in a country, you know, was, according to somebody's ethics, was illegal, but according to others' people's ethics, maybe more of the mainstream view of what's right and wrong, was considered illegal. It's only inevitable, but how does Bitcoin evolve in that moment? Oh, hopefully we get Adam back. He's having some connectivity issues. All right, check the chat. We're losing Adam here. Any good questions in the chat? Monero is more censorship resistant than Bitcoin because they can't even see what you're doing or how much. This is the point we're trying to make. Bitcoin will never be private by default. Exactly. I think that's the point we're trying to make here. I'm trying to get Adam's opinion on that. Is he back? Yeah, I don't think Bitcoin will ever be private by default. So it's not on at all? All right, I'm going to drop out and see if it comes back on. Are we back? Adam, you there? Hello. Trying to get Adam back on, guys. Sorry about that. He's trying to come back on. Stopping